Okay, before I go on, I hope you don't mind if I ask you about your days in Maiden.
No, not at all. No, I've got to come. I was a member. I know a lot of people refuse to admit to it, but that's neither here nor there.
Okay,
But go
uh,
ahead.
uh, a lot of the former members of Iron Maiden have formed somewhat of a family. Who are you close with your former bandmates?
They won't talk to me.
Oh, really?
Um, no, no. There's there's a definite. How can I explain it? There's a definite problem. I know the reason why, but there will be no contact. Whether or not initially it was um, through managers, through the management, in such a way forbidden. But I had a very close friend who was my personal assistant. You might say big fella who became when I went into Maiden, he came with me. We done all the things. I did a lot of work for Maiden, which was never um, been brought to the front. If anybody looks at the early days DVD, they will not see me. And people have asked, many hundred people, why wasn't I there? Well, the simple thing is I was not invited. Um, bearing in mind that most of the, I suppose, the first album, tracks up until the tracks, when they talk about Charlotte, the question has been given to Steve Harris and Dave Murray, who wrote the lyrics. We don't remember. Prowler. I noticed somebody bought a single the other day, very rare, single Japanese copy, and Steve has his name as the credit. I can give you other numbers. I get a little bit pissed off to be quite truthful when I see lyric straps that I've written appear like, I'm made going to get you wherever you are. That's what I wrote. That's it. So there has been a thing here at the weekend where somebody has decided to jump on the bandwagon to sue Steve and
For
Dave
Hallowed Be
Murray.
Thy Name.
Yes. Um, he's got one part of an album, of a number. I have got 5 tracks which have definitely lifted all my lyrics. The lyrics are there. People know it. People are aware of it. Two, they've tried to change them, partially move them around. Phantom of the Opera, all the other bits and pieces, naming tracks. That's what I did. People do not understand that when I joined Maiden, it was really a band doing Thin Lizzy copies. We wrote, I put the lyrics together. They all have meanings. This is the problem. Now, there was a disassociation that they would not approach me. They still won't approach me. They have still cut off any. I just had the blue wanted to speak to Vic, but I will seek some information, but I wouldn't want to go to a newspaper and write up some article. Um, People say, well, why after 35 years has this guy come out? This, that, and the other. It's like, imagine writing the first chapter of a book, and it's a major seller, and everybody relates to the first chapter. Says, that book's fantastic, especially the first chapter, but somebody else finishes it, and then you don't get credited for that book. And you think, why? Why? Or your name is not mentioned. When the rest of the people turned up for the early days DVD, they were shocked that I wasn't there. They didn't understand where was I. The blood was used after I left, but I put the blood into the band with a sword. That that was you see, I'm in all the books. I appear in all the books, but there's no mention of what I did. So you can see where I come from on this. Um, all it would appear is that I was in the band and did nothing. And it was brought up in Holland a year ago. Somebody asked Dennis Stratton that they didn't even know I was in Holland. I was there as a guest. And they said to him, what is this information we find out? But a lot of the tracks on the first album were not totally written by me, they were outsiders. And obviously, he admitted he don't get that. It's fair enough. He got in the band. How can he admit to it? Um, and when these people came out and saw me, they were like gobsmacked. Oh, we didn't know you there. Sorry, we just brought it up with the other, this, that, and the other. I don't know. There's lots of unanswered questions. They will be answered. They need to be answered. I like to do things nicely. I wouldn't want to start throwing toys out the pram and being venomous and everything else. In fact, the thing that's been posted on my Facebook, I haven't even liked any of it about the article because it doesn't relate to me. I have an issue, but nobody. I asked many people who are in Steve's ear for him to give me a ring. He won't do it. Things like this. So what can you do? You eventually it will have to be a situation going to the right parties. But no, as far as meeting people, Ron, yes, Ron Rebel, the drummer. You obviously know of Ron.
Yeah.
Everybody's talking to everybody else. But if Ron hadn't put the drum patterns down, a lot of these numbers wouldn't have sounded as they are. Obviously, the next drummer went in and learned the riffs, the actual sequences that Ron did. But Ron, God bless him at the moment, he's not capable through health to be able to play, but he never got any return for it. What people don't understand is that you put a lot of effort into something, and you know for a fact that Ron's drum playing, my lyrics or my performances or whatever relates to how the band turns out. I'm not talking. I don't. I don't even listen to it, and I have no interest in Maiden now. I'm not. I've never been offered a back pass ticket or anything like that. I just. It's not my sort of music. I openly admit to it. But there is a few things coming up, but we have performed tracks. We've never been closed down, whereas other bands have been. There's like doing Prowler or doing Charlotte or whatever, or Iron Maiden even. But there's an issue there that relates to. I would like to do things respectively, and also pleasantries attached. I would want to speak to Steve and discuss the issue before I make a move. Not like what's been done at the weekend, where somebody just come out and whacked it on them. All right, they don't have to worry financially because they can pay whatever the man's asking, but it's just a little bit of respect. It's very hard. An outsider, I can understand people getting annoyed with him, or he's only going for this, that, and the other. But people do not think to remember that for 2.5, 3 years I was a member of that band. And I just didn't sit there, I can assure you. And that's it. Whereas the one of the weekend has nothing to do with the band, I was in the band, and that's where it comes from. It relates to that, but obviously there's been something put out not to associate with me. So contact or friends of anybody? No, Ron being the only one, and he's not in the band. But the present day band, I would only know 2 people, and that'd be Dave Murray. Dave Murray, who was I brought into the band. There's a situation there, that's a connection there. They know where I am, no contact. So what can I say? You have to gather. You have to glean from that what you want to think about it, but that's the way it is.
Who do you blame for your lack of recognition in the band?
You what? Sorry.
Who do you blame for your lack of recognition? Like the fact that they always cast you aside?
I think management. I'll be true, but I would never have got on with. I think his name's what is it?
Rod Smallwood.
Yeah, Ian. I would never. Not among the Sundays, but I've got with him. I am fiery to the best of my ability. I do that even when we're playing. It's part of the deal. I don't think that even if I've been there, that we would have had me staying the course. But I feel that's where it's come from. I feel for what other reason? For what other reason would they want to do it other than being told to do it? I mean, you know that I use the sword in the act. You've seen the pictures with the blood and seen all that.
Of course.
People would say, "Where is the sword?" Well, the sword. Steve's got the sword. It came up for about 10 seconds on a Facebook with Vic Bella, the roadie, who was the personal one to Steve, in the same stance as what I used it. But nobody knows where it is, but we do know where it is because one of my guys grabbed the picture and we've got that. But there's things like that. It's like it doesn't matter to me. I don't give, as we call it in the UK, Billy shit about it. I'm not bothered. It's there. They have the problem with me. I don't have a problem with them. I've got no extra issues. But you would, they'd never even be given a ticket. never even been, or even for British Lion, never a phone call. They all know him. I've asked, I suppose, in the last 2 years, 6 close associates for Steve to contact me or Dave Murray. None of them have. It may be in their psyche that they don't need to. That's the other thing. They're very wealthy and very powerful in the music industry. Perhaps that's it. Perhaps they do not want to be seen. But it's the association. I believe, in answer to your question, it was at the higher level, not necessarily the band. And this is something that you have to face up to. And then then you put 2 and 2 together. You then relate to what is my biggest grievance, and that's when lyrics are being used where I've had, number one, no credit, no, I could openly state no financial return. I know 3 other guys who were financially paid off, that I do know, and substantial amounts of money. So you can see where I see this. It's the point. It's the point of being paid for your efforts. If you've done something for a band, then and that band becomes successful, then you should be paid for that purpose of what you did. Because if you didn't do it, then you wouldn't have had Iron Maiden's Going to Get You, or The Prowler, or Charlotte. Charlotte, you wouldn't have had all that, because if I hadn't have written it, it wouldn't have been there, would it? It wouldn't have existed. So where do you take it? How far back do you go? But there is a lot of people are talking, so Steve never looks back. Well, of course he doesn't. Why would he? Because there's a few ghosts there, I must admit, and don't suit purpose for him to look back. And that's it, really. As regards to that's why they don't talk to me. That's the only way I can see it.
You've acknowledged for years, obviously, that you've written a lot of Maiden's early material. What songs can you tell us what songs you wrote? Every song.
Right, I can tell you. I'll go off. I go off with the 3. Is Charlotte, obviously, is Prowler, is Iron Maiden, and the one that people don't relate to, but it's only the fact that I sang it to somebody. I sang my version to somebody, and they said, "But that's what Paul Dion had been singing, which is Phantom of the Opera." Mm-hmm. These were written in my front room, believe it or not, lyrically, in the song practice, and named. I named those tracks. I've named other tracks as well, but they're the ones that have been lifted word for word. But it doesn't matter really in the context of it, because it's a song. It goes there, but it matters to me for intellectual rights that I wrote it, and obviously there should be some connection. Would you not think, in the situation where see, I can prove all these things. It's funny enough. I'll give you an example. Paul Diano put out, I think it was in the late 80s, that he knew Charlotte. Well, he must have known the same person I knew, because it was written about a person that I knew. It was written in 78. I have 5 unheard of bootlegs from between 77 or 76, 77. Nobody's heard them. Now, I do know that Maiden bought one off the person who recorded this for a superbly substantial amount of money. And I couldn't really work out at the time why they'd done this, but there's certain things that I say on the stage that relate to my problem. Mm-hmm. And I can only assume it was bought. I don't think it was bought by the band. I think it was bought yet again by management, because it would have been, should I say, conflictions of interest, embarrassment. Who knows? But I am sitting on, and eventually I suppose I will. I may decide to actually whack them all out, which obviously collectors would love, because it's from Bridge House, from the Carlton Horses, from lots of different things, they're there. And the one thing that you cannot dispute is conversation on stage. You cannot dispute what, because I was the front man, what I say, what I do, and especially what I'm singing. And that's really what I call the evidence of what I do. And there's been a couple of radio stations. They wanted to have a questions and answers with me and Steve on a sort like similar to me and you now. But one of them did approach, and there was an absolute no, you don't want to do this. Well, then why? Why would you not want to speak openly? So this is where this comes from. This is, and as you in answer to your question, it's management. I can't think it's anything else. I can't see what Steve would be going from it because he's written so much other material. So and if you notice the writing of those numbers, compare them with whatever is written. There's no, if you know about wordage and the way it's done, there's no connection. You can see that a mile away.
Have you seen that Thunderstick or Barry Purkis has released recordings of when he was in the band?
Yes, it annoyed us because he has his own agenda.
Are you in contact with him at all?
I am in contact, but I'm not a great friend, to be quite truthful. He's done a few things which are not, I don't think, he had that, it's a tape recorded done, we're on it, he never asked us, he just launched it up, he put it out as he felt willing to do. It's not very good quality. In fact, we auditioned him for V1, but it didn't work out. I'll go no further on that. I don't know why he did it. I can't, other than, well, I know why he did it. I can tell you why he did it, to fund his album. Which is great, yeah. I'm a free agent on that one. I think that's a good move. I think in the world, in the commercial world, that's what you would do. But it happened that we were not informed of anything. And on those tracks, there's myself, there's Terry, and he didn't even have the politeness to phone us up and say, look, I'm going to launch these off. So we just kept away from it. We didn't get involved at all. You will notice no likes or questions or answers or anything on that, because we felt that there was no respect to us in the way he did it. But then that's a venture for him. If he felt that he could go, he could stoop to that, then that's up to him. He has to live with that, not us. We never wanted it. We never liked it. That's one of those things. But and it's not good. If I play you, well, you will. Someone will eventually hear it. I will put it out there. But the tracks, people. Steve was never a lyricist. He never wrote lyrics in 77, 78, 76, 77. I can assure you he never wrote them. The same as the logo, the type font and everything else. I mean, if you know, I don't know if you know the story, but there is the guy who did the artwork in my studio for me when I needed to correct it all, do it all up. The ads were always handwritten by me. So there's various things, but it's now attributed to Steve. And he had nothing to do with it. But this is, I can't fight folklore. That exists. Don't have a problem with that. Let it go. But the fact of releasing material, like Thundersticks did, I don't know. I can only think it's for personal gain. He's now trying to sell it, I believe. I don't know. The fact is, with these old recordings, you only have 3 hits and run them off again because they disintegrate. So,
I think a lot of people don't know that you were actually the one who invented the Iron Maiden logo. They try to dispel it now. They say that Steve was the one that wrote it, and they make up all this other stuff. Is there anything else that you can wholeheartedly say that you created that they dispelled?
There's lots of things. There's lots of ads. I did a form of ad where I basically got everybody on their toes in wording I put into ads. You ain't seen nothing yet, which comes off with the mouth, with the blood. That was a thing that I put together on that. Using the theatrics, using the explosives. They had no pyrotechnics when I joined. We had the biggest PA system in any of the local gigs that existed. We had thousands of watts. There's all bits and pieces. I did so much to get that, and as you know, the blood was used long after I'd gone. But at the same time, Steve was always telling me, said, "Oh, he didn't like the blood, this, that, and the other blood." But why did they still use it? Where did Eddie come from? The idea, the monster. Where the face, the mark? Oh, right, totally different. But where did the concept come from? Because it had to come from somewhere. And we were doing the theatrics with the blood, and it was always like Kiss. Nothing to do with Kiss. Kiss didn't use a sword. Um, we had other ways of using it, but there was no license on using blood capsules or whatever. The march, the Iron Maiden attack, all different sorts of things. There's lots of things that we did, especially the advertising band. And that was another thing that I relate to, because obviously I was a designer, so it was second nature for me to do that sort of thing.
Um, what did you think of the film The History of Iron Maiden Part 1? Did you watch it?
No, I don't. It's one of those things. I've never watched anything of it. I mean, it's even, I didn't even realise I weren't in the early years
Hmm.
history of. I didn't know. I was told I wasn't in it. And then obviously when I met up with Terry, he said, "Oh yeah, we all went down and we all questioned why you weren't there. When everybody else was there. People I brought into the band were there. So why would I not be in it? What was
Yeah.
the reason?" And you can see where I'm coming from. Why
Hmm.
would you? What possible thing had I done wrong that they felt they could not have me in there? One, would I question it? Two, would I say exactly what I did? Of course I would. I'm not going to go there and make out I did nothing and I just, which they all want me to do. The Cart and Horses, the birthplace of Iron Maiden, it was a birthplace of Smiler, which was a long while before Iron Maiden. They tried to bring in the Ruskin Arms, which is another London gig, so in the Cart and Horses. Do you know, it was only till last week they didn't even have a single reference to me in that pub. I didn't give a crap, I wasn't bothered. But luckily one of the fans took something of mine that I'd signed down there, and now I can't get the bloke off of me from Facebook. The guy who runs it, it's all over us. But there was nothing, not a single mention, picture, you name it, because it had got that far that I was not to be seen as being part of the band. And for whatever reason, I could not tell. Well, you and I, you not have an idea. I know it. I've got the idea, know it. That's it. It's hard. Um, it's one of those things that Steve has to be seen as the purveyor of everything I make. Of course he is now, and he's worked very hard. I'm hats off to him for what they've done. But I call the Iron Maiden Heritage Band the one that put stones in the foundation. And that band consisted of Bob Sawyer, Dave Murray, Steve Harris, myself, and Ron Matthews, Ron Rebel then, on drums. That was the Heritage Band. That's where all the basis of the feel of the music, the sound, the tracks that went on the first, Prowler and Rothschild and all the others. That's where they formed. We formed them. We did them. We made it work. Um, and that was it. And obviously, I mean, it's accusations that I left and made the band split up. I made the approach that I was going to leave because I wanted to do a different area. So why would I split Iron Maiden? I didn't split Iron Maiden up, but this is it. Uh, as you know the story, the sacking of how many people have I sacked in Iron Maiden? I think you can count. Well, you've got to have two hands now to count it. But I'm supposed to have sacked everybody. Um, how can I sack people when theoretically it wasn't my band? So they say. Did you work that one out? So I can't. And that's it. You know, Steve had this idea. He put the band together. I joined. I didn't audition, and I say I didn't audition. I didn't audition. I didn't even go down to be a singer for Iron Maiden. I went for something else. Totally different context. I'm not. I'm not a. Um, I'm not a Diano for starters. I'm not a Blaze. I'm not a Bruce. I'm me, as will be heard on the V1. That's how I am. That's how I sing. That's what I do. It may not be as good or as big or whatever, but that is me. That's all, and that's what I brought to Maiden, and that's what we did. But to then be labelled which some books actually went ahead and wrote about, that I'd sacked this person, that person, I got rid of this person. Not at all. Not at all.
Even the documentary History of Iron Maiden Part 1 goes and says that you kicked everyone out of the band because you didn't like Dave Murray's girlfriend or something like that.
No, that's the reason why I left Iron Maiden. One of the biggest reasons, I'd say 50%, possibly 60, 70%, was because of Claire, who at that time was Dave Murray's girlfriend.
Hmm.
The purveyor and the supplier of Class A drugs, okay, big time. And it got to a stage where Dave would appear and he would be totally 9 parts to the wind. He didn't even understand what day of the week it was. And one thing I've always said, I have no problem with what people say, they can do what they want, but do not appear on a stage. And basically let the band down, which he did do on several occasions. And it then became clear that Claire had this idea that I was for Bob and not for Dave, which was crap, because it's just that Dave and Steve stood one side of the stage, Dave and Bob, me and Bob stood the other. The reason why I stood with Bob, because Bob was also an out front player. Me and him counteracted as you would do in a band. That's how it was. But she took offence to this. She started giving verbal from the front of the stage on several occasions, and it just winded me up. I don't really need to. I've always had a policy: no women in the band. Don't want to know about them. They're not playing in the band. They don't be there, basically, because they cannot give anything to the. They can give an opinion, but she got more than that, and it proves what she was like. Because Dave didn't marry her. He didn't go with her. She was a nightmare. She was just about standing up straight. So yes, correct. That's part of the reason why I left. But I didn't sack Dave. It was one of those things I brought Terry in, the same as I supposed to have sat Ron. Well, if I sat Ron, why would you play another band with me afterwards? That makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Something I
So,
would. Oh, go ahead.
go on, carry on.
Okay.
No. So, in answer to that, I can categorically state, and I swear to this point, I sacked no one. I couldn't do anything without, well, I'd have to get Steve's agreement, would I not? Would you not think that could be the case? When Ron decided he didn't want to play anymore, Steve arrived at my house, can I come round and talk to Ron because we need him to stay? Why would he do that if I was sacking everybody? So I have a lot to talk about that band. I could write my side of it, but as over the years, 35 years has been what I might call cast in stone, it would be an uphill battle. But I will give my version, just purely because it was funny.
Would you ever consider writing a book?
I've been asked many times. I've been asked to do a video. I may do a video, very much like my early years, which would be funny, because there are various stories and anecdotes and things like that happened, which were fun, and just give people an outline of what happened in the band as we were. We were a very strong, close network, and I do not understand why this attitude is now. This is why people are taking that attitude on, that there's no association. I can't work it out. Nothing to do on my end. I'm quite amicable to anybody, but yes, it has been approached to write a book. I've had several people saying that they even pen it or do what has to be done. Video, possibly yes, more than a book.
Something I've always wanted to know as an Iron Maiden fan was the song Prodigal Son ever played live when you were in the band?
It was, but it wasn't known as that. There is some. If I look, I'm just trying to pull up something here.
Yeah, because something you look anywhere and they'll tell you Prodigal Son was not played live, but I've heard testaments, seen testaments from you that yes, it was, but now we get the confirmation right here, so great.
Yeah, I mean, there are several songs. I mean, Phantom of the Opera was written not by Dave and Bob and everybody else. The idea was initially put in there by Terry Rance, the first guitarist. Supposedly there is a version of a live practice we had where it was basically well, it was there for all to see. Somewhere down the line, that may do a Barry Purkis situation where it all comes out. I don't know. It's very hard to relate to what tracks. I mean, I sit here. I've got 5 bootlegs that nobody's heard from various years. I'm just trying to pull one of them up now to find to see exactly. This is why a lot of people like to be sitting here looking at this now, so that they can see a whole lot of things that they would like to listen to. There is one basically when on my last gig when I'm giving away the mask. But this is one of them. We've got Floating, we've got Strange World, we've got Drifter, Prowler, Burning Ambition, Another Life, Transylvania, Rothschild, Charlotte the Harlot, Iron Maiden. You know, this is a set, this is a general set. In fact, the set starts is I've got the Fire First, Drifter, Sanctuary, Prowler, Burning Ambition, Another Life, Transylvania, Strange World, Floating, and then I've done a speech, track 10, Charlotte the Harlot, Rothschild, Iron Maiden, which we just finished with. That's one album. I've got 2 different date versions of this one, which, as I said, as you can see what it is, then we've changed the order slightly. Then we've got Innocent Exile, last track. So we basically went and finished with Innocent Exile, I was getting time made. This in itself is a little bit of history. We started with I Got the Fire, Drift, the Sanctuary, Burning Ambition, Prowler. These are all things I'm sitting on. I've never asked for any of these. These have all been sent to me, believe it or not. It's quite amazing. And 2 of them anonymously. So I do question, but I do know that basically one of these was bought by Iron Maiden Holdings to prevent it being released, and I now know why because of what they hear on it. And we also have we've got Buster. This is one. And we've got the Ides of March. How about that? That's a rare one, isn't it? Starting with the Ides of March. So you see, I need to sit with these. One day, who knows, I might let the whole lot go and let it happen. But it proves a point for me in so many ways of what was done, you know, what was performed. So I have, as regards to people saying you didn't write a story or whatever, I'd love to do video with all this stuff playing in the background. That would be rather nice. I think the fans would enjoy it as well because it's stuff they would definitely want.
Oh, we really would.
That's it. It's the same as on our launch. A young girl came down, took some photos. There was a photographic competition on the rap launch, which was 2 weeks ago. She put some really, really good pictures together. She is getting an article which nobody else in the Iron Maiden world has got. She has got it. It will be signed by me from Teviot Street Festival, which was a big event for us. And there's been a few pictures put out, but I've been sitting on a whole library of stuff for that. She will get it, and she really will be the only one in the world who's got it. So that's what I like doing. I like giving people something to be able to think about. It proves a point. It proves that I was in the band. That's really my main, I suppose, to use the term, burning ambition. In so much as for years it was not, you know, the stories. Oh, we didn't know where he was. He was dead. We thought he was abroad. If I was to tell you that my close friend, who was on a day-to-day, well, not day-to-day, but regularly spoke to Big Bella, who was more or less living at Steve's house in Epping, in England, and seeing him for 20 odd years, 25, 30 years, that they couldn't get hold of me. Sorry, I don't believe that. I do not believe it. But there you are. That's their crack on it. So let them have that. But as I say, as regards to the sacking or getting rid of people or all the other bits and pieces that go on, um, no. But I do have the final gig that I did, um, which was sent to me. I actually give the mask away, which was quite good. So I know they haven't got the mask, but they've got all the other stuff.
Um, what can you say about your time in Iron Maiden? Like,
I loved it.
oh really?
Yeah. What exactly would you want me to say about it? What in what
Um,
context?
just, do you regret anything, or is did did how was the experience good for you, or?
Yeah, of course it was. It was, you know, we were one of the major bands floating around. Um, Creatively, it was good. Um, a lot of effort went into it. This is the other sore point that a lot of effort did go into it. Um, People saying, "Oh, well, you missed out on that, didn't you?" Well, you know, maybe of course I did. You know, for the you're in a band, you like to become successful, you like to earn lots of money, be able to do what you want to do, have a good life. Steve can do that now because he worked hard on. I would not take a single thing away from him. That's how he did it. He's worked hard, he's kept at it, he's kept the thing. I V1 in fact had two offers. Um, and Iron Maiden was still in the wilderness for a year. They hadn't got a band together. They were still trying to get the hours sorted out. Um, I We had two approaches. Geffen Records was one of them. A deal was struck, but our manager, as I say, who was tied in with Wishbone Ash, refused to accept it because there wasn't enough money. We would have accepted it, but we didn't. We listened to manager, which was wrong. So in the end, that was our demise. But um, if you notice the material, this is another thing. If you relate to some of the titles on the V1 stuff, the titling's the same lyric flows are the same. This is what I'm saying to you when you listen to Charlotte, when you listen to Prowler, when you listen to all those. But we didn't take a single, bear in mind creatively, Terry wrote a lot of link riffs and things for the numbers. We did not take one single Iron Maiden number, purely because we wanted to be, I suppose, fair, you might say, but maybe we're not. They're the ones who scored with it. We didn't. But as regards as a band, yeah, good times, a laugh, a scream, you know, everything. We enjoyed playing. I enjoyed the thing with the blood because people used to react to it. People fainted. Um, Big burly biters believed I literally did cut my mouth, and nobody ever had no idea what it was about. Then I get the crap that says, "Oh, it's what kissed it." No, I didn't. I don't see Gene Simmons with a sword in his mouth. If they ever see it, let me know because I've never seen it. Um, the Mask with the Prowler Avenue and attacking the band and things like that. It's all one of these things. That was it. There was a lot of done. There was a lot of fun. It worked well. We performed. We had lots of work. We were a band to be reckoned with, and we had a very good following. So loved it, loved it. Regret it going? Of course, who would not? Who would not regret it? I would love to be playing on a major stage for 50,000 people. That would do me quite nicely, rather than 50, obviously. Um, but at the end of the day, you only do what you do. Um, and life has its way of making changes for you. Like life's made its way that we've reformed V1. Who would have thought that 4 years ago, 3 years ago? I would never have thought it, so I didn't have any communication with anybody. But since then, we've all met up, we've done an album, and it's a bloody good album, in my opinion, and it's as different as it can be from anything that's out there at the moment.
All right. Well, I think I have everything. Is there any last inputs that you want to give to me about V1 or your days in Maiden?
No, I mean the V1 scenario. We've always been a band that's been a reactionary band. One thing with both bands that the stage act is the biggest. The difference being now, I suppose, if I look at, I occasionally people say we have a look at Maiden there, this and the other. Whereas the theatrical element, the slant on it came from the band because obviously we had didn't have the money they had to build their sets and obviously didn't have or the technology wasn't there then. But we did produce a show. People would turn up to see what we were going to do next. They were going to do this with the pyrotechnics that were totally unstable. In fact, they were built out of things that they mostly built atom bombs out of. It was that powerful. Burn people. I've had jackets go up in flames on lighting rigs. We had the lot. We had everything, and people in the pub had never seen it, never seen the blood or anything else. So, very futuristic band, which was the basis of where the Eddie scenario now, in many ways, bigger than the band. You know what I mean? You know, get where I'm coming on that one?
Mm-hmm.
It's a big, it's, you know, I've never seen where, I'm not saying it's throughout the world, but I've seen 2 or 3 places where the aircraft lands and people cheer and clap it. It's a metal object. It's a thing you get into travel, but it becomes a symbol, and then people, because their names are on the side, they're spending fortunes to buy pictures because they can see their name. So you can see where it's become a commodity. It's become a global standard, like Coca-Cola, and you think that's it. The issue is in, and I'm sorry to say, I do say this, that the actual presentation is bigger than the band. The band have to be there, obviously, because that's how it is. But people have said to me, we love listening to, and that's why they would love to listen to these bootlegs I have. That's that period of time when we saw it, or the ones who have heard certain things say it was much rawer. When piano come in, it was a bit more punky. There was a certain life feel to it. Now you have a total and utter presentation. And can you imagine what would happen if the Eddies or the backdrops or anything all disappeared? I've always said this. They say, oh, British Line, but British Line ain't Iron Maiden, so they can't compare it. But if it all removed, what would people say? There'll be an uproar. You know, Eddie's not there, this, that, and the other. But I take me out off the street. They've not done that. The Truth of Beer, the Eddie Heads, all the product that comes from it. They slipped up on a T-shirt in Europe the other week because they put the German flag on a Spanish one, or they put the Spanish on a German one, which really that's nothing to do with it. That's their merchandising department. Let's that one up. But you see where I'm coming from. Mm-hmm. They're a band, but do you know who my favourite heavy metal band is? Not only heavy metal, but one of my favourite bands of all time.
Who's that?
Rammstein. Mm-hmm. The same thing, but do you notice that the Rammstein show has a human element attached to it? It's the people themselves doing the flame throwing and the bits and the walking around and the keyboard changes and everything else. It's physical. Whereas Maiden, it's as much the production that's at the back. And it would be great fun, I think, to say to Maiden, we're not having any of this now. You come and just play, see what we got. Of course, the crowds will love it because it's the music as well. But a lot of people, I think, are absorbed with the backdrops, the theatrical. And it's one of those things I noticed. Somebody mentioned to me, and I didn't really realise it. Someone said, you go and see a Rammstein audience, you see very many mixed crowds, lots of females, lots of males. You see a male, you see a Maiden, it's just mostly male. It's that. There's obviously a few females there, but it's more of a male-orientated thing. And but there's this obsession with this Eddie thing that people will buy anything that has a picture of Eddie on it. Which is great. I mean, I'd love to have done something like that with the financial return, but I just feel that when I watch it now, that it's bigger than the music. And it really shouldn't be. The music is still, you know, I mean, we have the present set, people saying, oh, why didn't they do this number? Why didn't they do that number? Because obviously certain numbers are better than the ones they're doing, but I don't know.
The next V1 album, you say you guys are already working on it. I hope it doesn't take another 40 years to release that one.
Wouldn't that be? Well, the chances, if it did take another 40 years, I wouldn't be here to see it.
Well,
they'd have to they'd have to dig me up and give me. No, it's one of those things. It's true what you said. It is 70s style music, and of course it is because that's the period that we went back to. That's the reason why we did it. We've added three new ones. If they listen to Armageddon, they will hear a lot of things: electronica, keyboards, string instruments. There's a whole lot more into that. Uh, it might not be common knowledge, but my bassist and myself, one of our chief loves, and this is what we mostly upset all these other metal people, is trance dance music. We like the feel, the electronica side of it, but we had an idea that we can do rock, hard rock, with the same feel by adding, you might say, dance rhythms to it. Can you see that? Can you see the sense of it? It's like putting the electronic feel into rock. There is a band who do it, which are called the Pipe Choir, and it's just a one guy actually, but it's all like some people even say, oh, it's a bit dancey, and other people say, but it's a bit heavy metal, you know. And we've worked on the fact that we have a lot of electronic instruments amongst us, um, and also Terry has a major amount of pedals, which anything can put in. He can play a chord on a guitar, it becomes a Hammond organ type thing. So we have this feel, and we decided that we could have a conceptual album that it won't have been heard before. I don't think. It would be new music, but I believe that the heavy rock. In fact, I've got a feeling that heavy metal guys are like. If you like Rammstein, you must be like what we're going to do, because Rammstein put a lot of keyboard effects into their acts. Um, and the funny thing was, when I brought Tony Moore, who was in Cutting Crew, into
hmm
Maiden, uh, we had a talk about it only two weeks ago. Um, Steve didn't want keyboards. Didn't like it. Didn't, it wasn't in his thing. And I thought, fair enough, that's your choice. This is another reason why you asked about why I went, because I wanted to go to a different level. I would have, I had a lot of ideas for doing major statement at me as a human being doing them, like the flame throwing, like all the bits, very much like Kiss did, but a bit more advanced, like Rammstein do, with all their instruments and their flying bloody wings and everything. Not having an object at the back of the stage, robotic doing it. This would have been the individuals. So uh, we started thinking about this, and I thought, well, this is what we could get into this area and say that's what we'd like to do. But we feel that the metal crowd would mostly get off on it because it would be that heavy and that deep, that it would have that pulsating bass work, it'd have all the other bits and pieces. The one thing with us, we're very creative. People haven't seen haven't seen a third of what we listen to, what we're playing, and I think that will be a possible shock to people. They would relate to it, but it won't be something they'll kick out of court. They won't turn around and say, "Oh, that's no good." I think it will grow on people. It will be part of people will relate to it, and that's really we're just out to give people um, a new form of music. I think we've done it with V1. The similest things have been heard. There's been comparisons. We've had every band they're comparable to. It's not. It's V1. That's who we are. That's how we play. That's how we played. The basis of how we played '78. But the one you hear on the album is how we're playing now, and that's more the point. Um, and understandably, it changed from the original HR recordings to what it is now because things have changed. My voice has changed. The guitar work's changed. The bass is a whole lot more different. It's. I mean, obviously, Dwight has been a session guy. He's an American. He's played down there for lots of well-known bands. So we know with the conceptual thing of it, and obviously we have a very technical drummer, um, which makes a difference. And that's why I believe that the new V1 launch would be welcomed. I think.
What are your goals for this band? Are you hoping to have a worldwide impact or just keep it more local?
No, I'd love to have a worldwide impact, but that gets back to our question of getting management and representation. We need this. We need it big. We need to get these albums out there. It's through guys like yourself playing the album. It's already been airplayed, I think, 3 or 4 times all over the world. Um, we need to have markets to get into. We haven't even started. The PR packs go out next week, so hopefully there'll be more magazines can hear it, do reviews, people buy off the magazines. But as I said, one station has had a 300 plus download. People must be wanting to hear it. Otherwise, they wouldn't bother downloading it. Who'd want to sit there and? But it's free, obviously. We don't get anything from that. But that's why a lot of people, oh, you should be able to stop it. Why? Why would I want to stop it? Why would I want to stop? You know, I want the album to sell. Of course I do, because that allows us to do the next thing, to do the tours, to do whatever. We are a live band. We perform live. We love playing live. We're active live. We're one of those sort of things. So that's really where we come from. That's why I'd love people to see. There is no. You might be able to tell me, but I don't think there's any early video of Iron Maiden when I was in it. Um, you would see a different band. You would see on one side of the stage static, motionless, and on the other side, my side, you see activity. This is something that's grown with the Maiden side as it is, and this is what I tried to start getting instilled into them, that they would have to change. But that's an area. But as I said, I feel we need to go global on this. How we do it, I don't know. We just rely on people like yourself playing it. Perhaps people pick up on it. Perhaps it's, oh yeah, we'll mind listening to this. If the demand's there, that's what I said. 300 people download. That gives us 300 more people who might come to see us play. Logically.
Do you prefer your times in Maiden or the current times with your band V1?
What better times are you saying?
Yeah.
Um, I'd say it's equal. I'd say it's on an equal level. I don't see. Um, I say in the heyday of the Heritage Band with Maiden, um, it was extremely good, extremely lively, many, many gigs, lots of work. You could almost say like the new V1 hasn't got into the first run on the ladder yet. We're still going up because we had the gap of 30 odd years. But Maiden in its day was so refreshing to audiences. They've never seen anything like it. We did change the general concept of small gig venues. People hadn't seen anything as strong, as powerful, whatever, as what we were doing. And what you have to understand as well is that when Maiden had like Burr and Yano, I did a few of their gigs. I did the sound engineering for them. So this is another reason why it's quite weird to understand why they don't want to talk, if you know what I mean. But this is all at the time of, as I say, before Smallwood took over. But I don't know. It's as equal, I suppose. At the end of the day, I enjoy the technicalities of V1, which didn't exist in Maiden. It was rough and ready. Um, at the time, Maiden was every bit as good a band as what V1 is now. I would say, in my opinion, not necessarily as polished, but they were, because we had a set of numbers that were, we were not doing copies, we were doing our own material. And anybody who attempts, don't care who it is, good, bad, or indifferent, if you do your own material, then you should get some gratification, and people should acknowledge that. This is one of the problems I have with tribute bands. I think it's a waste of time. If you could put the effort in to become a tribute band, then why not do your own material? I never understand it, but that's because I've been told I'm too old. I don't relate to tribute bands.
Do you consider your when you were with Maiden, do you consider them a new wave of British heavy metal band?
There was only one mention. Somebody actually said, I think it would be good if you heard the track where somebody says they called you heavy metal. I said, where? we're not necessarily heavy metal, we're more like scrap metal, because to me it was a term that was being used uh, to label someone.
Mm-hmm.
It's like this. Uh, We've had British heavy metal tag. Um, music's music, surely.
Mm-hmm.
How can you say, or I would defy, how anybody can turn around to me and say that Led Zeppelin were a heavy metal band? I just, they were a blues band. They always have been, always will be. They were a blues band. Do not anyone tell me anything different, because it doesn't happen. From that stems off, Fleetwood Mac originally were a blues band. Then they became a weird genre which became a pop blues band. They were writing pops, good songs, very good songs, but they broke the mould of not being a blues band. Whereas the original blues band, the original blues band were a blues band. A lot of bands have been labelled as heavy metal. Whoever gets this idea they were heavy metal, well, they're talking out of their arse. They're not. They're you know, they said trapeze with their news. Heavy metal band. It wasn't a heavy metal band. It was a rock band. So you have this concept of what people see as heavy metal. I don't know what heavy metal is. All right, so we are stated as saying or seeing that Maiden at the top of the tree in heavy metal. I never associated it then. And some of the numbers are still played or are still liked by the Maiden family, as they called it. But I question now, is this latest album heavy metal compared with other heavy metal bands? Because how many heavy metal forms you get? You get thrash metal now, you get, I don't know, you tell me, you know more what I would do. There's about 20 different versions of heavy metal, I believe, so I've been told. Even down to satanic heavy metal. I mean, what that is, I don't know. Perhaps you have to burn somebody in the middle of the room. But it's like, you know, it's a label. At the end of the day, it's all music. If you know, when I knew Steve, one of his favourite bands of mine was a band called Nectar. Have you heard of Nectar?
Yes.
Nektar. As a heavy metal band, no thank you, nowhere near it. His favourite band, Genesis. People then said, "Oh, I was copying Peter Gabriel." Well, I wasn't copying Peter. I could wear a big flower around the head, but I was into Gabriel and into Genesis. That's Steve's nucleus. People do not understand that. That's the way it is. They see his bass stances as he plays. It's heavy. I'm told heavy metal. Now, I'll tell you what really amazed me the other day. Somebody, about 3 or 4 months ago, somebody had missed out the heavy metal bit, and it said the best bassist in the world. And what the bit they missed out to do was the best heavy metal bassist. Now, do not, under any circumstances, compare Steve's playing, which is heavy metal, with say Jaco Pastorius or Jack Bruce or any of these. Jack Bruce, Cream weren't heavy metal, but you know his playing was so intricate. And Steve's stances, when people say, "Oh, I copied him," but where did Steve get his stance from? It's a Pete Way cross Phil Lynott. That's what Phil Lynott stood on one of his. Pete Way of UFO, he does the aiming of the guitar. It's all been done. There is nothing new. So heavy metal perhaps isn't new. Perhaps it was done before, but nobody could put the label to it. So I don't know. Heavy metal to me, I know we were labelled with it. Perhaps we were. Perhaps we were one of the instigators of music. But when you speak of status quo, rock band or heavy metal, I don't know. A lot of people who go to see heavy metal went to see status quo. Pictures of Matchstick Men, what was that? Pop record? I don't know. But at that time, in the 60s, that's the sort of music that hit the charts. But it was a rock band doing their version. So you have all these different genres that people bang out and say, "Oh, that person's playing that music, that person's playing playing that music. And then tribute bands where I relate to then become, they have to look, not only do they, where can I put this? It's a bit condescending, but it's true. Not only do they have to play the same music note for note, do they have to have the same equipment bit for bit, do they have to have the same stance, and in some cases have the same tattoos. I just really, really cannot get around this one, because this is, oh, we're a heavy metal tribute band, you know. I've seen one band who I really do, a band in Holland. I think it was called, might be Up the Irons or one of these, I'm not too sure. The drummer was absolutely amazing. Shouldn't be playing heavy metal, should be playing more like rock fusion, something like that. But the heavy metal badge has been overplayed now, and I don't see it anymore. I don't think, from what I've heard, the latest Maiden album, Book of Souls, or we have another name for it in certain areas, I won't mention that. But that's not heavy metal. It's a genre that they develop for themselves, but it is the same sort of music. But you can see there are heavy metal bands out there who do get into that. And as I've always said, everybody, if you like music, have anything, whatever you like, you listen to it. But there are certain fans that ain't metal, it ain't worth listening to. And then you get some Maiden fans who like ABBA.
Are you in touch with any of the bands that or musicians that were in the scene at the time, like Praying Mantis or Samson or some of those?
No, I played with Sam. I played with Paul Sampson. I played with Chris Almer. We had a band called Front Room. And the reason why it's called Front Room because we never actually come out of the front room, but we wrote a lot of stuff while I was in there. Bob Grain could give you that story because I was in that before Bruce had even heard of Samson. So I go back a fair old distance with my thing I play with. But no, I don't have, because of being out so far, to be quite truthful, I suppose if it had been a question of coming back to what we call label heavy metal band, I wouldn't have bothered. I only come back to it because it's so different and I like that style, I like the way we do it, that's us. What you get, walks and all, that is our sound, that's how we play, that's what we do. If it had been heavy metal band, no way, I'm not into, you know, we're the only band that haven't got any tattoos. Work that one out. Which is quite amazing. We only discovered that the other week, and someone said to us, you know, just noticed something. We haven't got a single tat between them. And we said, no, we haven't. Don't ask me why. Never dawned on us. But theoretically, you've got to get two full sleeves to be in a metal band nowadays, so I'm told. I don't know. To meet up with people, it's a shame, really. I would have nothing in. How can I explain it? I'd have nothing in, you know, there's been a resurgence, as you must really see in America, of all these, what I call the old gits all coming out again, trying to do a show. People think we've done that. Well, we haven't. We haven't come out, we haven't done a Thundersticks that everything he's done is all about the old style and whatever. I came back 2 years ago. I listened to something we'd done in '78, and I thought this is good. Let's give it a go. We'll go for it. That's what we did. Did it under our own rules, our own system. We haven't had to borrow, beg, or steal from anybody. We did it ourselves. We did our own material. That's how we were. That's how we are now. That's how we will be. But we do put on a good show, so that's the difference. But as regards to other bands, no, I have no connection. I have no need to have any connection, to be quite truthful. I'm not overly impressed with some bands who churn out. I have to be truthful. I'm not going to use the word crap because it isn't crap, because anybody who plays an instrument, they could be good, bad, or different. It takes a lot of courage, whichever way you do it, to perform. And hats off to anybody who does that. But to see some of the stuff that is delved out by these so-called bands who have had a rebaptism, and I think it's valueless. I don't see any different to what it did in there. At least we've changed ours. We've actually pulled it up to date. We've put 3 tracks in. We've changing our style. Next album will be totally different. We create, but there's some of them have got by the wind and a prayer, and people turn up at these. It's like the 60s band tour, you know, the sort of thing where you get, uh, you know, all the old bands and the Searchers and all that, all go off on the 60s tour. This is what will happen with heavy metal bands. And in fact, it's happened, I think, already. They play a local venue and 8 bands will attend, and it's glorified. Now, all right, I don't have a problem with that, they can do that. But I'd sooner be on our own. We're on our own. We're the only thing we're doing, we've tried to. Our writer, guy called Alex Gillett, who does a lot of music journal work, he wrote notes in the album. I said, I do not want any association other than, yes, we did at one time play with Maiden, because we're nothing to do with them. We don't play their music. We don't. If I was to tell you that I've had more requests from everywhere, from America, from Brazil, Canada, Spain, Portugal, to Holland, to go out and play with the local tribute band and do 5, 6 numbers and get paid quite handsomely for doing it. No, why would I? Why would I want to do it? But I do know quite a few people who do it. That's it. We're not on a gravy train. We don't want to. We're not out to make money out of Maiden. We'll live off the name. Of course we will do. Why not? Because as I said to you before, there are people who can dine off a connection to Maiden that you would not believe. Like there's one particular guy, he borrowed an Amped to Steve one night, and he lives off this. This is his claim to fame, and this is hard to live with for me because I think it's just commendable, laughable. Right? This is what he lives in. He tells everybody, and everybody gathers round, and it's a good orator, and says, "Oh yeah, I did this. I bought this ad." And they even had it on display at the Iron Maiden reunion about a year ago, and I just could not believe it. I thought, well, we've now had it at the bottom rung. And then, on the other avenue, I think, well, hang on, I played with them for 2 years, but I don't get that recognition. Not that it bothers me, because, as we've always said, our music will talk for itself. That's how it is. No other way. But luckily, I have a good following of people who relate to me, and that's really what I ask. That's what we want, really.
Is there anyone that you want to give a shout out to that might be listening?
Anybody want to give a what?
A shout out, like thank you for
No. What? Oh yeah. Well, to say, I just want to thank. I don't know. I suppose at the end of the day, I need to thank obviously the guys at V1 because without them getting that together, there's a lot of hard work on this now. The album is not just a cranky old set of 4 old kids getting together and whacking out a piece of music because it's part of what people do now. That's really a big thanks to those guys. We had the idea, Terry and myself. The other 2 have come in. We've got lots of people who support us. We've got lots of people who have done lots of things for us without any other than gratitude. That's all they've asked, even down to our big design in Brazil and everything. So I want to thank them. I want to thank anybody who's been involved with that album, even down to the post-production, to the mastering, to the studio where we recorded it. Everybody, they're bang on, and obviously our families who kept behind it and obviously give praise as and when needed. The one thing above all that is that I will relate to. I wasn't on Facebook 2 years ago. I wouldn't have been seen on it, didn't have any need to. But the number of people who become my friends, associates, people I talk to, people who want interviews like yourself, all Maiden fans, and it's hats off to you guys. Fantastic. I have no qualms about anybody liking Maiden. In fact, I think they're a powerful institution. I'm pleased that I was part of it. That's a good thing. That gives me pleasure to know that I was part of it because people do relate to me. So you was in Maiden. If you say I was in Iron Maiden, there's either a look of disbelief or when the connection's made, it's quite nice that they relate to that. I believe there is a situation where it was a heritage band in 77, 76, 77, which was the four of us as well, basically the five of us as we were then. Before any changes, that's where the I suppose the foundation stones were laid for what the Maiden you see now. And as I say, that I like to thank all those guys who have come on. I've had very little negativity from anybody. I think there's one person who I got rid of immediately because he was an absolute twat, and he's a UK guy. Didn't understand. What I don't like is people who if they don't have the full story, they make up the other side of it. But the ones that I am friends with, they're the ones I need to thank because they've got me to this level to get out an album, to get that, and a lot of people like that are coming onto it. So, yeah, they're the ones to thank. And obviously, yourself, for giving me the opportunity to be able to. I do talk a lot, I do go off and rabble. One of my problems that once I start, I never stop. But,
Oh, it's perfectly fine with me.
yeah, but that's okay. That's what they all say. Then they go away and say, "Why didn't you go off? It's kept me on too long." No, it is guys like yourselves. People are showing interest in your love is Maiden. I understand that. Your then connection is with me. Fantastic. And so long as I keep getting those connections, I do not have a problem. If I happen to have at the end of the day a band attached to me, whether it be V1 or GV1 or whatever, that is even a bigger bonus for me. That you guys have an interest. Possibly like what we do, want to get in a way of promotion. That's what we need. We need people who like it. I know everybody won't like it. Don't have a problem with that. Doesn't matter to me because there's music I don't like, music I don't listen to, obviously. But so long as people give half a chance, but they're the people. Thanks to all the people who are there, like people like yourself promoting or wanting to talk, listen and talk to me, and obviously V1. That's it.
We're going to let you go, but before we do that, can you let everyone know where you can buy the album?
They can buy the album. Album now is available, I believe, everywhere: iTunes, Amazon, Spotify, on download. You can also go to our website on V1's website, which is still lots of big structured on www.v1rocks.com. And there is a centre section of buttons which was done hastily, but it's in the middle there, where if you're UK, you can either buy a signed or unsigned copy. There's a UK, there's Europe, there's America, and there's worldwide. Just go in there, press the button. It's a PayPal transaction, goes over. We are tomorrow night. Every album that's been requested or bought is being signed personally by the whole of the band and meeting up for that, including the two additional members who one sang or didn't sing, did some voiceover on Armageddon, and the other bass guitarist, Chaz Bulge, he will be there. So whoever buys the signed copy will be totally signed. It's well worth buying because we started with a 4-page book. It then became a 20-page. It gives you a total history of how it was recorded, why we did it, how we come about it, and also there's a history of the band, and there's some old photographs of V1, the old V1 in '78, and the new stuff. And to me, it's just a package. It's good quality. The graphics are superb, and the recording. That's the other thing. It is hi-fi quality. It's not an MP3 it's been glass mastered. It's had all the right roots. It just hasn't been basically had a copy taken of it. It's all been each one has been pressed individually, so it's well worth the money and the quality. Even though I say it myself, because I do like to hear good hi-fi. It is at that top level and well worth the buy. That's about it, really. But it's on all areas. We will be getting vinyl released, but because the tracks are so long on the CD, what we propose to do, and I mention this now because it might go to people, anybody who buys the album, and we know who's obviously bought it, will be able to go into a vote to say what they would like on the vinyl.